Hey guys, it's Wengie and hugs! Welcome back to my Storytime series where I tell you guys stories about my life that you've requested. Today's story is about an unfortunate situation that happened when I was younger. So this story happens during my high school days. Back then, I didn't feel like I had much of an identity. I mean, I had some friends, went to classes, did my homework, and basically went through the motions that were expected of me. But in reality, I felt pretty lost. I wasn't sure which direction I was going in, or who I was, or what values I stood for. I was trying to find myself, and that made me a huge emotional mess on the inside. I never really showed that side of me back then because I didn't want people to find out about that part of me. Most people probably saw me as a happy but shy girl, but in reality, I was super insecure, and all I really wanted was to fit in. To feel like I belonged somewhere. Luckily, I was able to find a great group of down-to-earth friends in high school who were neither too concerned with popularity or the latest trends, and just wanted to study hard, learn, and have fun. Pretty rare, right? We were 8 girls who all came from different walks of life with different cultures and upbringing. So we all had a pretty diverse set of perspectives, and because of that, we actually called ourselves the Random Group. Because if you looked at us, we looked like 8 random misfits. Australian high school isn't really like what you see in American TV shows or movies. We didn't have cheerleaders or the typical male football jocks. In fact, my school was an all-girls school, and you could only attend if you got over a certain score in an exam. So I guess we were all a little bit nerdy or smart in some way. Mind you though, there was the popular girl group too. I guess out of the nerds, they were the least nerdy and a little cooler than everyone else. Anyways, I managed to make friends with some of them and even ended up hanging out in that group. For insecure high school Wengie, hanging out with the popular group was a pretty big deal to me back then. Maybe it seems silly now, but at the time, I felt really proud that I was able to fit in. I sailed through the first few years of high school without too many issues at all actually. My own group of friends had literally like zero drama and also had the clout of hanging out with the popular girls after school. Life was great, except I never got to date my crush. That's definitely a story for another time. In 10th grade, when I was 15, a new bunch of students joined our school from other schools. Our high school had a reputation of being super smart and was actually ranked the second best school in the state. So in 10th grade, our school allows other smart students from other schools to enroll. Basically so they could have a better chance of getting good marks for our university entrance exams, which occur in the 12th grade. These exams are like the most important exams that determine what university degree you can study. So you know, those Asian parents gonna be putting the pressure on. Anyways, getting back to the point, I became friends with one of these new students in 10th grade. She was super sweet and kind, and her name was Daisy. Through Daisy, I met some of her friends from her old school. There were 2 guys called Fred and Lachlan, and we all became good friends. We'd hang out after school and even on most weekends. Everything was going great. But before long, something strange started happening to me. Some of the girls from Daisy's previous school started adding me to an online chat program called ICQ. Back then, during my high school years, it was super cool and everyone was on it. I would spend hours and hours every night just sitting there chatting to my friends. Most people would only have 5 to 10 chat windows open at any one point in time, but I usually had 20 windows open. Again, it was another proud moment for younger me because I was so happy that I had friends and felt included. So when I got a bunch of new friend requests, I happily added them without even thinking. Then some strange stuff started happening. These girls that added me started randomly sending me weird messages like, "You think you're so special? You always try to look pretty. I don't like you." I think nowadays, if I got something like this, it wouldn't faze me much since I'm kind of used to those kind of things people say online. But back then, online chatting was super new and I wasn't really prepared for it. Most of these messages came from one girl in particular. Let's call her Angela. Actually, to be honest, I completely forgot her name. I must have blocked it out of my memory. I had a really hard time understanding what was happening and what I did to deserve these messages. I barely even knew this girl and I had no idea how to respond, but it definitely didn't feel nice. From there, things only got worse. Angela's friends started joining in as well. They started making fun of me for trying to look cute, wearing too much makeup, flirting with everyone, and things like that. But back then, I only wore some mascara and lip gloss. And I was never flirty. I was just super friendly and happy that I fit in and had friends. But I guess that came across as something different to others. Anyway, their words really affected me. They made me feel ashamed and embarrassed, all because I enjoyed making friends. They even started spreading rumors about me to a bunch of other schools that I didn't even know. They would talk about how I would date lots of guys or like to lead guys on, or even dated several guys at once, but none of it was true. So yeah, I became the target of all these rumors, and the crazy thing is, I didn't even know 99% of the people that were talking about me. My life had turned completely upside down. From being so happy and feeling accepted, I shrank back into my insecure shell. Back to being shy and timid Wengie. I didn't understand why any of this was happening to me, and my life kind of spiraled downwards from there. I couldn't concentrate on my studies, so my grades fell. I started skipping school, I wasn't eating, and overall, I just became a bit of a mess. Eventually, I spoke to Angela, the lead instigator. Instead of yelling insults back, I simply said, "Thank you, you're entitled to feel that way if you want." Angela was clearly shocked and continued to hurl insults at me. But I just continued to be pleasant and kind. She eventually stopped, I think due to shock, and that she wasn't getting the response that she wanted. She even apologized to me afterwards. A few months after all this happened, I actually found out the real reason behind all these rumors being spread. Remember Fred and Lachlan, Daisy's friends? Turns out that the group of 3 girls that were saying all these things about me this whole time had a huge crush on Fred and Lachlan. They were just jealous of my close relationship with them. Another thing that drove them crazy is that it turns out both Fred and Lachlan actually had a crush on me. Like what? I honestly had no idea because they never said anything to me. But yeah, it all slowly started to make sense, and I finally realized the reason behind what was happening. Not that it made my experience of it any better, but it helped me understand a little bit of what goes on in other people's minds, and that you don't always know why people do the things that they do. I don't wish that kind of experience on anyone, but for me, I think I learned a lot from it. And in some way, it probably helped me to deal with some of the negative comments I got during my early YouTube days. So anyways, that's the story of how I became the target of some crazy rumors when I was younger. It definitely wasn't the happiest time of my life, but if any of you can relate, hopefully you found it useful. If sharing my stories helps you guys get through difficult times in any way, then I'll be glad to share more. Just request it down below. Oh, before I forget, check out my new single Talk Talk on my music channel. Just search Wengie Music and check it out. I'm also posting a behind the scenes of how everything was filmed with Max as the director, so if you're interested, check that out as well. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye! Mwah.